Hello grade 8s, this is Mr. Miller and welcome to lesson 4.3 on percent of a number. So first off we're going to use some mental math to determine each percent. One example is given to us. If we want to find 150% of $25, we can realize that 150% is 100% plus 50%. So first of all, 100% of 25 is just the 25. 50% of it is half. So 150% is the full thing plus half of it added together. So 25 plus 12.5, which gives us 3750. Let's see if we can use strategies like that in evaluating these other ones. So first one, we have 0.2% of 70. So first of all, let's look at 10% of 70. Very easy to do. You can move the decimal one spot to the left and it's 7. 10%, you have to realize, is 10 out of 100, which is 1/10. 1/10 of 70 is just 7. Now 1% of 70 is going to be 0.7. Of course, this is dividing by 10, so we do the same thing here, dividing by 10, that's 0.7. And another step down, dividing by 10 again, is going to leave you with 0.07. So 0.2% of 70 is going to be twice as much of that, which is going to be 0.14. Now you notice that I didn't use a calculator at all in that. I could, as a check, right? I could take that 0.2%, which is out of 100, and I can multiply that by 70 and check to see that I get the correct result, and I do. But again, I did this all just using mental math. And I did it all without getting mental. So, if you know what I mean. Alright, now let's see if we can use some kind of a strategy for mental math for part B. We want to do 3 1/10% of 10,000. And so, first of all, let's take a look at 10%. 10% of 10,000 is going to be 1,000. 1% is going to be 100. And so 3% is going to be 3 times that, so it's 300. 0.1% is going to be 10. So 3 1/10% is the 3%, 300, plus 1/10 of a percent, which is the 0.1%, which is 10. Add them together, we get 310. And again, we can check that on our calculator, make sure that we've got it right. We can take 3 plus 1 divided by 10, that's 3 1/10 percent divided by 100, and multiply that by 10,000, and you'll find that you get the same thing, 310. So now let's use some mental math to determine each percent, and we're going to show our thinking along the way as we've done in example number 1. So if we want to find 500% of 60, we could start by finding 100% of 60, and of course that's just 60. So that means that 500% of 60 is just going to be 5 times that, which will give you 300. The second one, if we want to do 0.2% of 600, we could start with finding 10% of 600, which is just 60. Finding 1% of 600, which will be 6. Finding 0.1% of 600, which will be 0.6. And so 0.2% of 600 is going to be simply twice as much, which will be 1.2. Finding 150% of 4,000, we can start with 100% of the 4,000, which is the full 4,000. We can find 50% of 4,000 pretty easily in our head because it's just half as much. And now if we want to do 150% of 4,000, it's going to be simply the 100% plus the 50%, so adding 4,000 plus 2,000, that will give us a total of 6,000. And the last one, part D, if we want to find 2.25% of 80, we're going to start by finding 10% of 80, which is 8. We're going to find 1% of 80, which is 0.8. And we're going to find 2% after that of 80, which is twice as much. 2 times 0.8 is 1.6. And then to find 1/4% of 80, it's 1/4 of the 1%, so it's 0.8 divided by 4, which is 0.2. So that means that the 2.25% of 80 is the 2%, which is 1.6, plus the 1/4%, which is 0.2, added together gives you 1.8. So I know it takes a few steps, but you can do all this in your head. And again, you can check all these results on your calculator, but hey, we can do better than that. We can do it all in our head. Certainly nothing wrong with checking with the calculator afterwards. Let's take a look at the next page. Number 3, we would like to determine the percent of each number. And so a few suggestions given here. Write the percent as a decimal. Give your answer to the nearest hundredth. So when we're doing 3/4% of 690, and we're going to skip the mental math this time and go straight to how can we do this on the calculator. 3/4%, what we're going to do is we're going to take 3/4, which is equal to 0.75. By the way, if you're not sure what a fraction is as a decimal, just take the numerator and divide by the denominator. Right? There it is, 0.75. And we are going to divide that by 100 because that's what the percent means, right? Percent means out of 100. And we're going to multiply that by 690. And when you do that, the answer that you get, okay, 0.75 divided by 100 and multiplying by 690 gives us 5.175. But since it said to round to the nearest hundredth, we're rounding this off to 5.18. There you go. Next one we have here, 385% of $210.60. So to write it as a decimal, you take the 385 and you divide it by 100. Okay? And then you multiply it by $210.60. I guess I didn't do that in part A. I should mention that this, when we divide it by 100, we get 0.0075, and that's what we're multiplying by, 690. So let me do that here with this one as well. So it's going to be 3.85 times $210.60. And so when I do that, 3.85 times $210.60, I get $810.81. And so next we have 83 point. Now again, if you don't know what 7/8 is as a decimal, 7 divided by 8, that's 0.875. Divide it by 100, and then we're going to multiply by 240. So 0.83875 is what we're multiplying by 240. 0.83875 multiplied by 240 gives you 201.3. You can write the 0 to have your hundredth place value, but it's not totally necessary. In number 4, we're asking what is the percent of each number, and give your answer to the nearest hundredth. So same kind of thing in this one. We're going to take that 65 and 3/5%, change it into a decimal by dividing it by 100. So 0.656. Again, if you weren't sure, take the 65, add 3/5. Okay, take that result, divide by 100, and there you go. Multiply that by 400. When you multiply it by 400, you get 262.4. And you can write the 0 if you want, it's not necessary. Next one, 345%, 3.45. Again, you can take 345, divide by 100, multiply it by $89.95. So 3.45 times 89.95 gives you 310.3275. Since we're supposed to round this to the nearest hundredth, and of course for dollars and cents, that makes more sense, dollars and cents, to round it off that way. So $310.33 for 33 cents. Now the next one, number 5, we're saying if the sales tax in a province is 6.5%, what is the tax on a pair of shoes that cost $82, and show your work. Okay, so we want to find 6.5% of $82. Okay, so this is equal to 0.065 times 82. Now if you're not sure where that's coming from, 6 plus 1/2, that's 6.5. Divide that by 100 to change it into a decimal, and now I'm going to multiply that by 82, and this gives me my answer. So it is $5.33 worth of tax. So that's the end of the lesson. Here's the homework for the regular and the honors class, and thank you for watching this video.